Coming up on 2.5 Geeks, murder, mystery, and intrigue. Well, not so much. But we are going to talk about the Galaxy Tab 7.0 plus what? A whole other core. That's what I'm going to say in the processor. The holiday gift guide from Hot Hardware, contest details, and a whole lot more.
The bar has been set wicked fast. It rocked in the benchmarks. We're going to up the ante a little bit.
Processing power, I kind of understand this. Oh, hello there. Welcome back to 2.5 Geeks. I'm Ayaz Akhtar alongside Dave Altavilla and Marco Chiappetta of HotHardware.com. How are you guys doing tonight? Or today?
Oh, hello there yourself.
I didn't see you guys walk into these boxes next to me. How about you, Marco?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain.
Marco's having one of those days. We all have them. I had it this morning. Marco decided to take it for the night. And Dave is just being all happy. How dare you, sir? How dare you have a nice day?
I refuse to succumb to the seasonal crankiness.
Well, let's actually talk about some hardware, since this is called Hot Hardware. Or this is on Hot Hardware. It's not called Hot Hardware. Let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7.0 Plus. Now, that's what it's called. It's
Easy
not
for
called,
you to say.
It's not the Plus 1 or Plus 2. It's the revision to Samsung's 7-inch tablet. It's got a dual-core processor. Apart from that, Dave, what can you tell us about it?
Yes, it's perhaps one of the nicest 7-inch tablets on the market right now. We were thoroughly impressed with this thin and sleek device from Samsung. Seth Colliner took a look at it for us. And yeah, 7-inch WSVGA PLS display, Samsung PLS display, native resolution 1024 by 600. Really nice. Samsung arguably makes some of the best displays, whether they be handset variety or tablet variety, on the market today. And so just gorgeous display, equipped with a dual-core 1.2 gigahertz Samsung Exynos. Am I saying that right, Marco? Exynos processor. And
close enough.
Yeah. And a gig of system memory and 16 gig of onboard storage. Really, really nice device. Super thin, super light, and we were impressed.
Now, comparing it to the original Galaxy Tab 7, I guess they was just called the Galaxy Tab at the time. Does it feel like an improvement? Does it feel more refined? Any difference in the build quality?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a Galaxy Tab 7 owner, an original Galaxy Tab owner, you're jonesing, because the Galaxy Tab obviously came out with Froyo Android 2.2 on board, and this is a honeycomb-equipped device, so Android 3.2 to be exact. And yeah, really offers a lot, like a world of difference experience versus the original Galaxy Tab that came out, both in terms of the hardware under the hood, the processing power. That new Samsung processor actually rivals, and in many cases outperformed Tegra 2, NVIDIA's Tegra 2 dual-core 1 gigahertz processor, which is no slouch, certainly in the multimedia and gaming department. Actually bested some of the Tegra 2 tablets in our test suite. So you've got that going on, as well as just more refinement. It's a thinner tablet, much lighter. It's a little pricey, $399 MSRP, and so when you consider tablets like the Kindle Fire for $199, you really have to think hard on this one. But this is a full honeycomb-based tablet, wide open Android market capability. Little short on ports, obviously, with the thin, design of this. It's hard to sneak ports into this thing. So you're really, sort of relegated to the tethering option with the proprietary Samsung sync and charge cable over a USB port. But other than that, just a great device all around. Really sleek, really nice.
Now, the fact that it's running honeycomb is interesting, but what kind of... I know that Samsung likes to skin their Android, I guess not variants, but the distribution. How did it feel compared to a pure honeycomb experience? Did it feel like Samsung overdid it, or did it actually make it a better experience?
Samsung does a nice job. They do a real good job about not getting in the way. And so, for all intents and purposes, it does feel like a fairly stock Android 3.2, honeycomb based experience. But Samsung does some nice tweaks to the UI here and there in terms of widgets and home screen displays for things like the date and time and the weather, and maybe some of your recently used apps or websites all displayed neatly on the home screen. Calendar. Again, it's about widgets and placements and color schemes and themes. It's really the true essence of a skin versus revamping the Android UI. So we appreciate that. It's a light functionality tweak on what is already a solid OS for tablets, and it's well done for sure.
Now, Hot Hardware put together a holiday gift guide. Now, it's on PC components. And the weird thing is, I'll say it, aren't all these components commodity parts at this point? Isn't everybody making the same thing and they're just labeling them different? Marco, clearly, show me the light. People shouldn't be spinning a wheel. They should be checking out your gift guide, right?
Absolutely. This is actually our fourth gift guide. We did notebooks, smartphones, tablets, and now we're doing PC components here, getting everybody ready for the holiday season. And to get to your commodities comment, for shame, Ayaz. For shame. Shame on you. I'm very upset with you.
It's just a setup.
If you were a dog, I would rub your nose in that comment. So, no.
He is a dog.
Don't hit me with a newspaper. That's all I ask.
The items in the gift guide, they're not commodities. That's actually, you can do a gift guide and pick the cheapest stuff. You can do one where you pick the best stuff. We kind of picked all of the good to best stuff that's actually worth buying, that differentiates itself from its competition. So we covered, cases, storage, graphics cards, CPUs, motherboards, power supplies, basically all of the core components that make a PC.
Okay, so hang on now. A motherboard design at this point, whether you're going to go, can it handle an AMD or Intel? Okay, and this is the other thing. I was shocked to not see VIA in your processor picks. What's going on?
Well,
I'm cracking myself up there too.
Shocked. You shouldn't be shocked not to see VIA in there. It's funny, they make that, the Nano processor is a cool processor, but I dare you to go out and try to find one to buy, even like Newegg. It's almost impossible to find that stuff. But, there's actually lots of stuff that differentiates a product like a motherboard or a processor. It's not just the socket type. For an AMD board, you can get something that's, AM3 Plus ready, Crossfire ready, how many PEG slots, what kind of integrated audio and networking, is it a micro ATX, mini ITX, full size ATX? There's tons of different stuff to look at, depending on what kind of system you want to build.
Now, is there any components on this list here that you think that even the nerdiest would overlook? They'd go, power supplies? I can just pick up one. They're a dime a dozen. Is there something on your gift guide that people should really even take note, even the nerdiest bunch?
Yes, and I'm sure Dave is going to know what I'm going to say. But before I get to it, most of the stuff we featured is kind of the high-profile hot products that you've probably read about on the site. So if it's a hot enthusiast product, whether it be Sandy Bridge E, or an OCZ Revo drive, that's the kind of stuff we featured in the article. The item that's nearest to my heart that I wish all of my hardcore geeks would go out and buy and try is the Roseville mechanical keyboard. I'm going to start talking keyboard. Roseville actually did an awesome thing when their Arcade 9000 series boards shipped. They had Cherry MX blue, brown, black, and red switches, and prices were from like $99 to $130. Now the Cherry red, black, and blue boards are only $99, and the Cherry red base board is only $109. And that is downright cheap for a Cherry MX red base board. I know it sounds expensive for a keyboard, but if you want to experience those switch types, they are an absolutely awesome buy. I've been typing on a Cherry MX blue switch for, I guess, about 2 months now. I love the board, absolutely worth $100. Considering how much time we all spend in front of our keyboards, I want you all to consider getting a mechanical. Trust me, you will like it.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in here. As you asked for it, you said the geekiest of discerning geeks. Which would you pick in terms of an item? And Marco told you. There you have it. Marco, now you got to tell us What
Okay.
the heck is the difference between a cherry blue and red keyboard type? I know it's
All
the
right,
key
perfect.
mechanical key type, but go ahead.
Right. So perfect segue. Everybody likes to complain how loud mechanical keyboards are. Those people are completely misinformed. A Cherry MX Blue key switch. A Cherry MX Blue is a clicky switch, so that's going to click every time you press it. It's clicky and tactile, which means as you press a key, you feel a little bump that bumps your finger, so you know the switch actuated. Cherry MX Brown is also tactile, but there is no click. The only noise it'll make is the switch bottoming out completely, onto the plate of the motherboard, the plate of the keyboard, I should say. Cherry MX Black is a linear switch. There's no tactile bump. It's smooth all the way up or down, and it's non-clicky. And the Cherry MX Red is just like the Black. It's linear, non-clicky. It's smooth, but it requires very light touch. So, less finger fatigue and, basically faster finger movements for gamers. At least that's the theory.
Yeah, so for anybody complaining about chiclet-style keyboards with their shallow travel and lack of response, this is the kind of thing you want to look at, by the way. It's a real big deal. I'm not kidding about this. I've got to play with, I used to have, actually I still do, I have a Model M-style keyboard from IBM.
Oh, yeah.
With the real switches, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. This is a great, great thing. Definitely. Roseville, only $100, starts $100. That's a good price.
I run a deck
and
keyboard
just
with
a
mechanical switches,
quick
too.
note, that Model M that you had, that uses a buckling spring type switch. People still love the buckling springs. A company called Unicomp still makes them using the original molds from the Model M if you want to get a new one.
I love my deck keyboard, Marco. What kind of switch does it have?
You have Cherry. Actually, you have the rarest switch. You have a Cherry Clear in there. It's tactile, non-clicky, but with a firmer key press.
Yeah, I like the non-clicky, but the tactile response. Absolutely.
On to laptops then, unless there's anything else about keyboards. We could talk about the keyboard on the Dell Xps 14Z. Now,
Yes, sir.
This is a notebook that's under an inch thick, and it's following that. There's some company in Cupertino which seems to have decided to design the only style to cheat, to copy. There it is, the Dell XPS 14Z, which looks like the 15Z, which looks like the HP Envy, which looks like the MacBook Pro. Go ahead, Dave. Defend the Dell XPS 14Z in design. I dare you.
Right. So, yeah, you certainly can knock Dell a little bit for taking a cue from Apple and a few others. But, the stylings, the all-aluminum chassis, it's actually got a really nice wrist rest and touchpad area, keycap area. Again, styled in sort of a graphite look and feel with chrome accents. The chrome accents we felt were a little blingy, to be honest. But this is a solid laptop. It's a 14-inch Core i5. We tested a Core i5 2430M, a 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core i5 based model with 8 gig of RAM, so loaded for bear, and an NVIDIA GeForce, discrete NVIDIA GeForce GT520M graphics chip in addition to the Intel integrated graphics that are on board. So it has Optimus, hybrid switchable graphics. When you need it for gaming, it's there, or perhaps for a movie. When you don't need it, it runs off the integrated graphics. So a real nice setup there. 750 gig hard drive, 8x CD DVD burner, all the good stuff. Backlit keyboard. You talked about the keyboard. We would say the keyboard on this notebook is, in terms of design and build quality, certainly better than most. The keycap, I think, the shape of the keycaps are actually what I like the most about it. Really nice backlit, nice comfortable soft feel to the keycap surfacing, I guess, if you will. But not quite enough travel. Something about notebook keyboards, you never seem to get quite enough travel. A little shallow there. But a well-built machine, to be sure. Where we felt it fell short, to be honest, was things like, it's a premium machine. Obviously this is a highly stylized notebook, excellent build quality, retails. Well, as tested, it was $1,100 for the machine we looked at. So, for that, we expect a little bit higher resolution display. Here you've got a 14-inch display, 1366 by 768 native resolution, and little things kind of got in our way as well. No USB ports on the left and right edge of the notebook, only in the back. And then again, a small little nag that we're seeing more common these days with thin and light machines. No user serviceable battery, but that's again getting more common, and I guess perhaps we're concerned less with that. So not quite A plus material, but a solid B, I guess, maybe B plus.
Now, in the article, you guys actually mentioned how it's kind of competing against another Dell product, the Inspiron 14Z, which is a lot cheaper. It doesn't have this blank styling, and it's a little bit, I guess, more boring. It's a more utilitarian-looking laptop.
Right.
Why would somebody pick the XPS over the Inspiron if they're comparable?
It's really about build quality, chassis, and style more than anything. Honestly, you could probably pick up a similarly configured Inspiron for a lot less money, hundreds less, $600-700 or something of that in that range, and you get pretty much the same internal components from the processor, etc. But you might it's the little things. You might not get the Optimus switchable graphics. The other thing you're not going to get probably is the durability and the wear ability of the design of the XPS 14Z. It's certainly a very well built machine. Materials and workmanship are excellent. So it's really about that. In terms of general performance and day-to-day use, probably not a big differentiator. It's really about build quality, design, and I guess durability, perhaps, with the XPS 14Z and style. I mean, if you like a stylish notebook, and certainly it's comfortable and looks nice and feels nice in the hand, that's what this machine is all about.
Let's take a look into the future. I guess there will be some mystery in this show. The future of gaming. Now, Fleury went ahead and put out a study showing off portable gaming and showing how iOS and Android are taking up maybe over half of the portable gaming market. It used to just be PSP or PSP versus the Game Boy, whatever variant was at the time. Marco, what can you tell us about this?
Yes. So yeah, this was actually a really cool article that our man Joel put together. We grabbed a tablet, we grabbed a handful, we grabbed a Tegra 2 powered tablet and a handful of games for use on a tablet. And not only did Joel explore, the graphics and interfaces and playability of certain games, but discusses problems with the platforms and the form factors. And, we all know that as more people get smartphones, more people get tablets, more people are going to game on them. It only makes sense that market share and the number of games available for these platforms is going to increase. It doesn't take a crystal ball to predict that future scenario. But what people have to realize is, picking up gestures and inputs on the different tablets or different smartphones, the different shapes kind of they change the game. Is your thumb going to land at a certain point? Does a certain game translate well to a tablet form factor? Like a fast-paced shooter is not really going to be great. So what Joel kind of found is that the game sort of has to be designed with touch in mind and gestures in mind for the best experience. But the horsepower and the graphics capability, it's really already there. Even with the Tegra 2, which is technically a previous gen SoC from NVIDIA, you're getting almost console-like graphics. And if you go back a couple of weeks ago to our Asus Transformer Prime article that Dave took care of, the graphics coming out of that thing, I mean, they'll rival a previous gen console, no question about it. So the real gist of the article is, here's the games that are out now. Here's how they work. Here's what's bad. Here's what's good. And here's what you can expect moving forward.
Now, with things like OnLive coming into being, I mean, do the process, I guess the onboard hardware, does that matter as much if you can offload a lot of that processing off-site? Using the cloud for offsite processing isn't really there yet. You still need a local device that can render graphics on screen and keep it smooth, and a fast enough SoC to pick up your inputs and respond quick enough for you to feel immersed in the game. It's tough to say. Will we get to the point where some kind of cloud-assisted computing is going to help? Yeah, I don't think it's there now. So I think for the immediate future, you're going to want a well-designed, fast tablet with
the hardware capabilities built in.
Well,
Yeah, I'd
Go ahead.
agree with Marco on that. I think you not only do you need serious rendering horsepower back at the cloud, at the farm, so to speak, the rendering farm, but you need copious amounts of bandwidth to deliver real-time graphics that you see available today on the PC platform. But what's impressive about what they're getting in tablets these days is that you're getting console quality, console level graphics, capable in a thin 0.33 inch thick in some cases device. It's a pretty impressive horsepower.
I think I'm going to take this into wild speculation land right now. So we have Microsoft out there. The console market. They've got that. Okay, they got that locked up. They're constantly competing with Sony, I guess, and a bit of Nintendo at the end there. Microsoft doesn't have a handheld console. They do have Windows 8 coming out. They keep talking about touch first. Do you think that they will actually have some kind of focus or any focus on gaming, considering Windows has always been the dominant platform? Not always, but for the most recent history, has been the dominant platform for PC gaming. Do you think they have some kind of way to make all of this stuff work together? Will gaming be Microsoft in Windows 8?
Tough to say. In the console space, no question about it, Microsoft is a dominant force. In my opinion, the PC is also the premier gaming platform. I wouldn't say dominant because there's fewer and fewer people doing it, but the PC is the best gaming platform in my opinion, bar none. Can Microsoft translate those successes to the tablet and smartphone space? I don't know. It's gonna. I think they have the resources and the means to facilitate, developers making the apps, but ultimately it's going to be developers leveraging the hardware and Windows 8 and making those apps that people want. If the games aren't there, all of the infrastructure and resources Microsoft puts behind it isn't going to matter. So, and I think that one's going to fall on Microsoft's partners and on the developers.
Dave, you seem intrigued by that question. You have an opinion on this one?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question, and I think we're really going to see the true power of Redmond's muscle, if you will, and how they can, if they can pull this one off. I think what's interesting about tablet gaming and handset gaming right now is that you've got totally different platforms, totally different APIs even that are being used for handheld devices versus what we see in PC gaming with Windows platforms. You've got ARM and you've got certainly Android, of course, and OpenGL even is what's driving some of these games in terms of graphics. And so versus DirectX, obviously, which is what is predominant across the PC these days, OpenGL falling by the wayside, id going the last dying breath with OpenGL. But we've seen certainly in Windows 8 in the Windows 8 demonstrations that Microsoft has already unveiled ARM running Windows 8, and so certainly the platform, the OS will run cross-platform, cross-processor architectures, not just x86, and so I think it's going to be real interesting, and I think certainly Microsoft is in a position to once again, own it. But there's a lot of other forces at play, and some of them are pretty big. So it'll be interesting to see.
Enough wild speculations. Let's actually talk about some facts. Dave, let's get into some contest details, some information that's solid, not just me saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of contests. One actually that just wrapped up, and one that is currently underway and in full swing. The MSI Gear Up contest with NVIDIA and MSI has just been concluded, the sweepstakes, I should say. And our friends C. Dieter and Omega Draco have won. There are two MSI winners, and C. Dieter, he scored himself a fat new NVIDIA-based GeForce GTX 580 card from MSI, the N580 GTX Lightning. And Omega Draco had himself a choice of motherboards, either an MSI X79A GD65 X79 Intel chipset-based motherboard for the Sandy Bridge E platform, or an MSI Z68-based Sandy Bridge, first-gen Sandy Bridge motherboard. He actually chose an X79 based motherboard, the X79 GD65 from MSI, and so he scored that bad boy. And then we, simultaneously to this MSI contest concluding, we kicked off the Tablets of the Season sweepstakes with NVIDIA, where we are actually giving away, handing out 5 tablets for the next week or so. It actually runs through Monday of next week, each day of the week. And so the first tablet that was up for grabs was the Asus ePad Slider, and our buddy Taylor Karras from the Hot Hardware community scored that for himself. And it is a beautiful Android 3.2 base slate, NVIDIA Tegra 2 under the hood with that slide-out keyboard. We reviewed it, sharp machine, and we got some happy people in the audience.
So if you want more contest details or you want to know about anything we talked about in today's episode, check out HotHardware.com. Or you can go around the web. There's lots of places where you can find some fine Hot Hardware content, including dig.com/hothardware, youtube.com/hothardwarevids, facebook.com/hothardware, and twitter.com/hothardware. That's right, I did them out of order just to mess with you guys. Huh?
We're like the Scourge. We're everywhere.
Well, I think that wraps up this episode. I would still say I don't think Scourge is the right word. I think
I like Scourge.
We're like the pleasant thing that's like everywhere. We're like sunshine on a nice day.
Yes, rays of sunshine.
That's what. Yes, we're a scourge of sunshine. That's what I'm going to say. Thanks for stopping by, everybody.